You know, there's something rather curious going on right now. You're listening to me, or so it seems, and I'm speaking to you, or so you think. But what if I told you that this whole arrangement, this sense of you being in here and the world being out there, is the most magnificent hoax that was ever played, not by some cosmic trickster, mind you, but by yourself, upon yourself. Now, when I say that reality is an illusion, I'm not suggesting that the world doesn't exist. The trees are still trees. The sky is still the sky. And if you bang your head against the wall, it will hurt just as much as it always has. What I'm talking about is something far more subtle and infinitely more important. I'm talking about the way you've been taught to experience reality, the way you've learned to divide and separate and fragment what is actually one seamless happening. You see, from the moment you were born, you were educated into a very peculiar hallucination. Your parents, your teachers, your culture, they all conspired quite innocently to convince you of something that simply isn't true. They taught you that you are a lonely little ego, a separate self, trapped inside a bag of skin, and that you are isolated from the rest of existence by an unbridgeable chasm. They taught you that you are a stranger in the universe, an accident, a little fluke of nature that somehow got consciousness and is now wandering around in a world that is fundamentally alien and different from you. But here's the thing. This sensation of being a separate self, this feeling of being I as distinct from everything else, it's a magnificent fake. It's like a very convincing magic trick, and you've been so mesmerized by it that you've forgotten it's a trick at all. You've taken the role you're playing in this cosmic drama and mistaken it for the whole show. Think about it this way. When you watch a movie, you know very well that all the characters on the screen, the hero, the villain, the lover, the fool, they're all being projected from the same source. They're all just light dancing on a screen, all arising from that single projector in the back of the theater. But when you're absorbed in the story, you forget this. You identify with the hero, you fear the villain, you laugh and cry as if it's all terribly real and separate. Well, consciousness is doing exactly the same thing right now. It's playing all the parts. Your part, my part, the part of the trees and the clouds and the person sitting next to you. But it's so convincing in each role that it actually forgets it's performing. It gets completely lost in the character, and that's what we call being alive or being awake in the ordinary sense. But really, in the deepest sense, you're asleep. You're dreaming that you're just you. Now, you might ask, well, if this is all an illusion, how do I wake up? And that's a very good question, but it contains a trap. Because the moment you ask, how do I wake up? You're assuming that there's a you who is asleep and who needs to do something to become awake. But that's precisely the illusion we're talking about. The separate you who wants to wake up is itself the dream. It's like a character in a movie asking, how do I become real? The whole question is based on a misunderstanding. The truth is, you're already awake. You've always been awake. There's no one who needs to wake up because there's no one who's asleep. There's just this eternal now, this present happening, this play of consciousness that's been going on forever. You are it. Not the little separate you, but the whole thing. The real you, if we can call it that, is the universe itself, looking out through these eyes, listening through these ears, thinking these thoughts. But immediately, the mind wants to know, well, if I'm already awake, why don't I feel awake? Why does it still feel like I'm just me, stuck in here, separate from everything else? And the answer is beautifully simple. Because you're trying. You're making an effort. You're straining to be something that you already are, and that very effort creates the illusion of separation. It's like trying to make your hand grasp itself, or trying to bite your own teeth. The moment you try, you create the very division you're trying to overcome. You see, the separate self, the ego, is nothing but a pattern of tension. It's a chronic habit of muscular, psychological, and spiritual contraction. Watch yourself very carefully. Notice how, right now, there's a subtle sense of holding on, of contracting around a center that you call I. Feel it. There's a gripping, isn't there? a tightness in the chest, perhaps, or a clenching in the mind. That's the sensation of being an ego. That's what it feels like to maintain the illusion of being separate. And here's the cosmic joke. You're doing this on purpose. Not consciously, of course. That would spoil the game. But at the deepest level, this whole play of forgetting yourself is deliberate. Because if you knew all the time that you were God playing all these parts, where would the surprise be? Where would the adventure be? You'd be like someone watching a movie they've already seen 1,000 times. The plot would be predictable, the ending known. So you've arranged to forget. You've set up this magnificent game of hide and seek with yourself. You've hidden so cleverly that you've actually convinced yourself you're lost. And now you're seeking yourself, looking everywhere but in the one place you actually are, which is right here, right now, in this very moment of experience. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The moment you stop trying to wake up, the moment you stop seeking enlightenment or truth or whatever you want to call it, that's when something extraordinary can happen. Not because stopping the search makes you enlightened, but because the search itself was the only thing keeping the illusion alive. The seeker is the sought. The one who's looking is what you're looking for. Let me put it another way. Have you ever tried to sneak up on your own shadow? You can't do it, can you? No matter how quickly you turn around, there it is, always behind you or in front of you, but never where you can catch it. Why? Because the shadow is dependent on you. It's not separate from you. In exactly the same way, you can never catch the real you by searching for it, because you are already it. The searcher is the searched. This is what I mean by waking up. It's not acquiring some new state or reaching some distant goal. It's simply relaxing the chronic tension of pretending to be separate. It's like when you've been holding your breath without realizing it, and suddenly you let it go. There's nothing to achieve, nothing to become. You simply stop pretending to be what you're not, and what you are is revealed. Or rather, it's obvious. It was always obvious, but you were too busy looking for it to notice it. So what is this reality that we've been calling an illusion? Well, it's precisely what's happening right now. Not your interpretation of it, not your thoughts about it, not your memories or expectations or judgments about it, but the actual bare experience of this moment. The sound of my voice, or the words on the page if you're reading this, the sensation of breathing, the play of light and shadow, the arising and passing of thoughts and feelings. This immediate present moment experience is the only reality there is. Everything else, all your ideas about yourself, all your stories about the past and future, all your beliefs about what's real and what's not, that's the illusion. You see, the mind is constantly narrating. It's creating a running commentary on experience, translating the direct, immediate reality of now into a story about me and my life. And in doing so, it overlays the actual with the conceptual. It covers up what is with what it thinks should be or used to be or might become. The menu replaces the meal. The map becomes more real than the territory, and we get so lost in this narrative, so identified with this story of me, that we lose touch with the actual living reality altogether. We stop seeing what's in front of us because we're too busy thinking about it. We stop hearing the music because we're analyzing the notes. We stop tasting the food because we're reading the description on the menu. This is what I mean when I say you're asleep. Not that you're literally unconscious, but that you're living in your head, in the story, rather than in the actual present moment. You're like someone watching a movie of life rather than living it directly. And the way to wake up is simply to shift your attention from the narrative to the actual, from the thoughts about experience to experience itself. But here's what's tricky. The moment I say shift your attention, the mind jumps in and tries to make a project out of it. It says, I need to be more present. I need to practice mindfulness. I need to stop thinking and just experience. And immediately you've created another doing, another effort, another way of trying to be something you already are. You've turned waking up into a task. And the ego, that sense of being a separate doer, is strengthened rather than dissolved. So what's the answer? Well, the answer is there is no answer in the sense you're looking for. There's no method, no technique, no practice that will make you wake up. Because all methods and techniques assume that you're not already what you're seeking. They assume that you need to get from here to there, from asleep to awake, from ignorant to enlightened. But the whole point is that there is no there to get to. You're already it. The kingdom of heaven is within you, as it's been said. Not hidden away in some secret chamber of your heart that you need to find, but right here, right now, in the very fact of your awareness itself. Let me ask you something. Who is it that's aware of your thoughts right now? Not what you think you are, but what is actually doing the awareness. Before the thought, I am aware, arises. What is there? Just pure awareness itself, isn't it? That awareness. That's what you really are. Not the thoughts, not the feelings, not the sensations, not the story of me, but the clear, open, aware space in which all of that appears. And here's the beautiful thing, that awareness is not separate from anything. It's not inside your head looking out at a world. It's the very presence in which everything arises, your body, your thoughts, the room around you, the entire universe. When you see a tree, the tree isn't out there, separate from consciousness. The tree is consciousness itself, taking that particular form. When you think a thought, the thought isn't something separate from awareness. It's awareness doing that dance, playing that note. So waking up is not about going anywhere or becoming anything. It's about recognizing what you already are, what you've always been. It's about seeing through the illusion of separation and realizing that this whole show, the drama of your life, the entire universe, it's all you. Not the little you, the ego you, but the big you, the real you, the only you there is. And when you see this, really see it, not as an idea, but as a living reality, everything changes and nothing changes. The world goes on exactly as before. The birds still sing, the rain still falls, you still have to go to work and pay your bills. But the quality of it is entirely different. The suffering that came from feeling separate, from feeling like a lonely ego struggling in an alien world, that suffering dissolves like mist in the morning sun. What remains is a profound sense of ease, of belonging, of being at home in the universe. Because you realize you are the universe. You're not in it, you are it. And that, my friends, is what it means to wake up from the illusion of reality.